what Mr. Orimalade has been talking about is, the value that is going to come to the Lekki Ekpe corridor when it comes to the coastal road that is currently being worked on. So he has been able to highlight some of the values that we, as benefactors of the coastal highway, would enjoy if you live on this corridor. Now, the houses on the corridor of that infrastructure, value of properties are going to go up. I guess that's what you're saying, Mr. Orimolade.
Basically,
yes,
they're
and that's
going to go up astronomically. Let me use that word. They are going to go up astronomically. And let me quickly just say this, just quickly, so that people will understand how this thing is going to play out. Eco Atlantic has been alive since, but it has come more alive. There is going to be a regeneration in the Victoria Island area. When I use that word, regeneration, picture the fact that in Eco Atlantic, there's no boys' quarter allocation. Let me use that for instance. Not everybody can afford Eco Atlantic. That's going to be the #1 residential address after Banana Island. So you're going to get a regeneration where a lot of people that can afford Eco Atlantic, they're already doing it. People are already taking position, by the way. They're going to take more position there. What does that mean? Residential is going to be less. There are going to be more pressure on Lekki Phase 1. Lekki Phase 1 is now fully accepted because of majorly the Ikoyi Link Bridge. That has given credibility to the expatriates that initially were even afraid of coming towards Lekki Phase 1.
To Lekki.
Now, from Lekki Phase 1, you are going to get lots and lots of people not being able to, it's already happening already. Basic rent in Lekki Phase 1 is between 12 to 15 million.
You're right, sir.
It's not going to, because I think some people were telling me yesterday that, based on that coastal road, the rent will drop. The rent is not going to drop. It's going to increase more because of what I've just said. The good news is, based on this road, which, from what the minister said, first phase is going to be commissioned, plus or minus, and if they told it, opened by end of the year. What that means is that if you have your rent running now and it's going to expire first quarter next year, my advice to you, go and lock down something further down. Pay 2 years rent now, lock it down. That is what I'm talking about, being strategic, because Lekki Phase 1 is not, it's just getting started. Well, Lekki Phase 1 is warming up. You are going to get more pressure on Lekki Phase 1. So you are going to see that move going further. And with the coastal road, makes everywhere, the issue now is not about distance anymore. The issue now is not about, I have to get back to VI and all of that. So to a large extent, its distance becomes shorter. And that's going to make more developers that had suspended a lot of their development because of high cost of building materials. They're going to go back and they're going to be knocking on the doors of properties that have remained static because of the whole area. So I am being specific, capturing it from Eco Atlantic. The impact of Lekki Phase 1 is going to go on and on. So that's why I'm saying you want to be strategic right now. Better run further down and pay that rent and advance for 1 or 2 years. Trust me, it will not be anything close to by the time this road opens up. And by the way, people might not notice this. Let me just throw these things before the next question. On ground now, and it's not what the minister is saying, it's what I have also done my own little investigations. On ground now, from Amado Bello, actually on ground, they've done roughly about 20 kilometers right now. On the other end, the minister is right. I verified it. I'm not sure if they've achieved 5 kilometers yet, but they're close to 5 kilometers. So the plan of them getting the president to commission on May 20, ending of May, to commission that phase. Actually, I can say this credibly. I'm not an agent of government. I'm fully private sector. But I can say that it is quite germane and is on point. So I think the beauty of this program is just to let people recognize that it's not about gossiping. I am not here to promote anyone. I'm here to
side talks.
What exactly is on the ground and what has been done. The road is live. And it's for people to understand that, understand the intrinsic value this road is going to have, and based on information, take quick position. Because the whole corridor, including, let me say it again, your villages in Ondo, your villages in Ogun State, your villages in, you know, I'm not even talking of Delta, I'm just focusing on Southwest here. I know there are lots of people on this line that the other states. Those outskirts take position. Those rural areas are going to be converted by the governor to urban areas. I kid you not. I can bet my international passport. So please take positions. I'll leave it there.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Orimalade. So you heard that if you have properties on the corridor of the Lagos to Calabar Coastal Road right now, you really want to start developing it because it's about to be a blast. I mean, it's going to make you tons of money. So, sir, I was going to ask, my second question is, what should investors look out for? What should investors look out for? I mean, in terms of land documentation and ownership along the highway route.
This is a good question. And I, as a professional, normally get a lot of my calls and referrals when people enter trouble. So I wonder that whether I'm so unattractive that before they couldn't call me before they before they make this. Anyway, straightforward to answer your question, I'll put it to you this way. Knowing the cost of spending money and having your investment go down the drain should make people recognize that there's no two way around it. They should get professional hands. There are asset surveyors and there are property professionals that are trained to be able to carry out proper due diligence for you. It's not just about a property having a CFO or governor's consent. For family lands, which quite a number of them are around these areas, question is that, are those lands, have they been gazetted? You know, have they been exercised from government acquisition? If you're going to buy a landed property, have you done your due diligence to the level to go into the Surveyor General's office? There's a master plan. There's an original master plan. Have you gone through the master plan? Beyond that, have you done your what I call foot investigations on the ground? You know, so there is no two ways around it. The cost of losing your asset is crazy. And I think this brings to mind the fact that based on the Land Use Act, which is what we're currently operating, if government or your land is sold off or taken over, even compulsorily, please note that your compensation has nothing to do with the value of your land. So imagine me talking to you now, you carry your leg, you run somewhere, you buy land around that area. And when the road is opened, you get triple the value. You build a bungalow. Then at the end of the day, your property is taken over and government just pays you for the crops and the improvements. Your value is zero. So at the end of the day, it's as good as you not even doing anything. Don't get me wrong. There is overriding public interest that the government uses. That is true. And it's not just peculiar to Lagos or Nigeria alone. It's all over the world. Where there are areas in urban developments that are sprawling up, government comes in to take a position for the better good, Key thing is do your own diligence, do the best you can, get the best advice. And there are lots of professionals out there. Ensure that they are regulated. It's not about someone doing a nice post on a social media and showing you properties. Question is this, is the person regulated? Once it's regulated, you're okay. You know that if there are issues, the person has the credibility issue. He has a stake in it. He will ensure that before he even does or sells property to you, he will think twice. So that's my advice. We can talk so much about documentation. I've thrown it out there, land gazetted, free from government acquisition, CFOs, governor's consent, not just deed of assignments that had not been executed. That's not a title. That's not a title, because that's what I see being branded around the whole place. Oh, the landlord signed and this and that. Come, as if does you have governor's consent? So get a professional. There are lots of them there. You know, the Health Surveyors and Valuers Institution is there. You can check the directory online. But beyond that, there are lawyers that are not just lawyers, with all due respect to my colleagues or my friends in the legal profession, but lawyers that are grounded in land law. There are lawyers, with all due respect, that don't know where their wig is. So you have to have people that are grounded and tested. But beyond every other thing, people that are regulated, that have a lot to lose. So that's the advice I'll give regarding documentation.
Thank you, sir. I mean, even from my own personal experience, having worked with someone in the Surveyor General's office, I know that if you have properties and you don't, do your due diligence, like you mentioned, you are just deceiving yourself. I mean, you mentioned the going to Surveyor General's office. I know right there you can get your land information done. You also mentioned food investigation and a whole lot more that one can do regarding to due diligence. But still, based on this due diligence, this will lead to my next question. In your view, what due diligence practices are most critical when evaluating land or property investments near major government infrastructure projects?
Okay. Okay. What due diligence practices? What I will advise, especially, okay, I'll give you a good example. Let's be practical here. There is the designated spot for, within the free trade zone still, there's a designated spot for the airport, the Lagos State Airport that is coming up. That is clear. It's not just about news in the papers. There are people that can actually take you where that area is going to be. Now, I'm sorry, this news might be sad to some people, and I'm not saying that you've lost your land. I'm just trying to give some good advice. I think it's common sense to to find out more about the kind of expanse of land that the government has earmarked for that kind of airport. Also, in typical airports, there are actually plans that for futuristic purposes. For instance, I'll give you a good example. Dubai is a good example. When the main Dubai airport was commissioned, just when it was commissioned, Sheikh Maktoum ended up coming to say that they are going to do an extension of the airport. So real estate is dynamic. What am I trying to say? Depending on the asset, the development that government is putting up, we should be use a bit of common sense. I don't think you need a professional for this. Be able to ascertain how big that land has been allocated for an airport, for instance. And you ask yourself on very simple questions. This area called Ekpe seems to be one that is going to expand beyond what you are seeing now. So if you are governor of the Lagos state, for instance, and Ekpe is designated to be on, say, for instance, 10 hectares, and you look at where that land is, and based on the coastal road and everything coming, it's only common sense for me to say that there is a possibility that a government using overriding public interest might be lured to maybe take some additional land close to that area. That's why I said it's common sense. That's what I will advise people in any places. And again, there is a master plan. In any places that you're taking positions. If you are taking positions close to key government establishments coming up or down the line, and you have a long-term play, and it's very close to those kind of government infrastructure projects, I will advise you to think twice and do proper due diligence and advisory from the government. If not, if it's a short-term play, I will actually tell you that it's something that you might actually go ahead. Because if government has a plan to do certain things, once you take position and you cement yourself there with your title, of course, in place and all of that, it's going to be very hard for government to even come and tell you to even move away. So the summation of this is shine your eye. Shine your eye. You're going to take position. Take your time, no rush in life. determine where those establishments are going to be. Once you're establishing it, go a step further to get the land size. It's something you can get, as I said, information. And based on what it is, airports is always expanding. That's why I use the word airports. Deep ports are always expanding. How much land did they get? How much land was allocated to them? So that's it. And I'm not trying to insinuate, that's why I had to say what I said at the beginning. I'm not trying to insinuate that those that have taken position around the airport, which I know quite a number of people have taken position, I'm not saying that their land is gone. I'm just saying future advice, be guided, ask questions, just don't jump on, oh, I'm near Dangote refinery. Oh, I'm near this and that. Government has a right, and I'm sorry to say this, but it's the truth. Government has a right to, in areas where they have to open up the system, to see if there are times in which they have to put certain infrastructures for the better good. It's for us to just ensure that we do as much as possible to guide ourselves and be realistic on that premise. So I will leave you there.
I was even going to say, I agree with you on this one, because I once had an experience where the person had, secured the landed property and they've built something on it, and only for them to, after doing the maybe chatting information and land information, they found out that it's a proposed government airfield. I think one can be able to, if you go to Survey General Service, can get that from the master plan, just like you said. So what Mr. Orimalade is saying is, if you do your due diligence enough, ask questions to the right authorities to, get information that is required, you would know how to position yourself so that even if the government is coming, you have the right documentation to be able to get compensation for what you've invested. Yes, I'm correct, sir.
Something I need to add, which I have to correct. You talked about compensation. I've just stated a mere fact that compensation based on the Land Use Act, they don't consider value. It's not value, it's just what you build, your improvements, less depreciation, and maybe your crops, and of course the ground rent. That's all. Wow. So I'm stressing that for people to recognize that what does it cost you to get a professional to handle certain things properly for you, and to go in and all what you've spent, government just ends up just giving you money, or maybe relocating you to somewhere that the land is by far lesser value.
So that's smaller.
Yes, I'm stressing that fact. That it's something that people really have to think about. Food for thought.
All right. So you hear that you need to make use of the service of a professional when next you're purchasing a landed property. So our next question is, what makes the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway one of the most transformative infrastructure projects for Nigeria's real estate sector? I mean, how will the improved road network impact accessibility to affordable housing for middle income earners?
Okay. Let me use this, let me say this on over the air here. I'm from Ondo State. I'm from Owo, to be precise. There's a family house that we have there. I'm going to Owo in the next few weeks because of what I've seen in the Lagos Coastal Road. I'm going to tidy up that property. That is in Owo. Owo is not close to this road. That is how I'm seeing it. What am I trying to say? This road passes through outskirts. Let me just mention the roads and the city, the state, so people should understand this. Lagos, we all know that. Ogun State, Ondo State, is passing Delta State, is passing Bayelsa State, is passing Cross River State, is passing Akwa Ibom. Now, this is where governance is all about holding leadership accountable. By virtue of these roads passing through these states, there is an automatic implication to property values and creation in terms of road creation and infrastructure within those states already. Now, hear this. This kind of road, the two people or the two categories of people that you will say will be plowing the road a lot and making use of it. You're going to have people that are in the transportation business, all right? There will be haulage business and all of that. They're going to be plying this road. You're going to have a lot of people that are going to move from here to here in terms of visiting their homes and all that stuff, different states. Along this corridor, it then means that when you're traveling within a distance all over the world, what do? At times you break, right? When you break, what do? You, let me sleep over, right? You have an hotel. That's hospitality. What do? I want to eat. I'm hungry. I went to secondary school. When we take the luxurious bus from Abuja to Lagos, there are like 3 to 4 spots we stop. Those spots, anytime they see our bus, everybody runs. We eat food there, we sit down. People, it's not about people sitting down. They're going to have people traveling, tourists traveling, visiting different places. So in terms of opportunity, immediate opportunity, warehousing, huge. Take position in the outskirts of those states. Land is cheap now. Take position, get properties, take 2 acres, 3 acres, 4 acres, it's not expensive. Some 3 acres, 4 acres is this outskirts. It's not equivalent to 1 plot, like if it's 1. Take those positions, put up resorts, just bungalows, play with the vegetation, play with the scenery. So in terms of hospitality, huge. In terms of commercial retail, huge. Nobody's talking about you putting a mall in the real sense. Let's put up something that is inviting and welcoming all around this area, because it's going to happen. If you don't do it, the foreigners are going to do it. Eco Atlantic was done. 1 or 2 Eco Atlantics are going to come up around this corridor. Take it from me. And they will take position in a cheaper way. So the whole place is going to open up. So that's why I'm not, if you notice, I'm trying not to pay so much emphasis in, how will Awoyaya be? How will Sango Todo be? How will VGC be? That is a no-brainer already. Values on each of those assets will be added maybe about 20 to 25% instantly once the road comes live. I can tell you that. I am talking about where you will get full intrinsic value, where people are not seeing, where right now people are still fetching water well, carrying it on their head and trekking down, but they don't know that 5 minutes from there, coastal road is passing. Those are the places I'm talking about. So I will tell you that why I said governance has to be brought to the table. There is no excuse for a lot of these states not to ride on and create less focus on the main cities. That opportunity of this road passing is giving all the states the opportunity to create mini cities, tourism hubs, commercial hubs. It's a no-brainer. So basically, that's how transformative this is going to be. An example I'm going to give, quick one, is this. We all ply the road, the Lagos-Ibadan road. When you pass Lagos, you get to Ogun State. And you see the Redeemed Church, you see all that. The IGR in Ogun State now is one of the highest in the country. It wasn't a no-brainer. With all due respect to the governor, which I respect a lot, is doing a great job, by the way, there was very little you need to do. It was closer to Lagos. Lagos had already done infrastructure. But let me say this. If you go to camp, I'll give Redeemed Church, for example. Within camp, the camp on its own created roads, external roads that lead to other parts of Ogun State, not from the Lagos-Ibadan. By virtue of all those churches and all those industries setting up there, they on their own created other channels. So why won't the IGR of Ogun State be as much as it is? It's closer to Lagos. They tapped on the infrastructure again, and based on businesses or the private sector coming up, other areas opened up. That's what is going to happen within those states plowing. This road is plowing. And it's for the state governments. It's all about enabling environment. It's for the state governments to create the enabling environments around those areas and create mini cities. Lastly, in this point, let me say this. Based on what, I'm going to trust the minister on what he said. Based on what he said about the Third Mainland Bridge, he put on solar lights and all of that. We can see it. He said that when this road is completed, even the first phase, they're going to have solar lights, they're going to have CCTV cameras, and you're going to have, of course, security stations there. That already has given some level of security and protection. It's left for the state governments and all the areas I mentioned to happen on it. Just connect. Very simple. Just ride on the infrastructure. That's all. And the whole place, and we need it. We actually need it. There should be less pressure on Lagos State. Why should I be? My friend? Why shouldn't I be able to travel in my car after I had this work on Friday, and I'm on the road, and I can actually hit the outskirts of my state, Ondo State, in less than 1.5 hours? While right now, if you close from Lake VI and you are going to Ogba, you can be in go slow for 2 hours. It means that I can get to Owo in 2 hours and 2 hours, 30 minutes.
So faster than someone who lives in Lagos.
So we should get to a situation where we start living our life properly. Get out of Lagos, open up these other areas. That's what some of us plan to do anyway. So it's just a teaser. And as I said, please, people should try their best to really look at what is really happening on that road. You'll be mind blown. So let me leave it here on this. I know we still have lots of questions and time is running out.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Well, first of all, I'll say I was jealous when you mentioned the states that are going to be enjoying the benefits of this coastal road, and you didn't mention my own state, Osun. You mentioned Lagos, Ondo, Delta. You know,
I'm sure there's a connection there. I'm sure there's a connection.
Yeah, but if there's something I enjoy that you spoke about, is the fact that not just the real estate industry would be affected by these developments, tourism as well, hospitality, and other businesses that would obviously improve the IGR of those states. Okay, according to the Buy Net Leaves Property Index report, smart investors are entering the market just before infrastructure hits. In your view, is now the time to move on the coastal corridor investment, or is it still early? I think you've answered that by saying now is the time to take a position.
Yes, I said that. That's answer, but let me just use this example again. Free advice. Buy, let live. I love you people, and that's the essence of doing this. Educate everyone. Not too long ago, a company in the creative industry reached a company and was talking about how they really need something within Lekki and around. Why am I saying this? And also, a lot of people within the creative industry are looking for big places. Big. I'm talking about acres, large grounds, and all that stuff. Why can't companies right now, based on what I've just said, be thinking about the outskirts? And it's cheap. You'll be a king in that place. You create your own infrastructure within the asset base you've created. Even create assets there that will generate you income. That we end up even paying for even the developments that you're going to do. So what I'm trying to say is, let's think beyond, and it's not today. End of the year, it's less than how many months? And as I said, this thing will be like film trick. It's going to be like film trick because the opportunities you can get now, you cannot get it again. So I will say it again, just to stress the quick mover. There's one estate I won't mention, is at the Lekki Express. 1 or 2 people on the platform are there. I'm sure they are smiling. I'm going to mention, you're not paying me. But they took position a long time ago. A long time ago, they were selling an amount. They had a roadshow. There were people that were telling me, what do they mean? What do they mean? They're asking for so much money. And I was telling them that time, right now, oh God, they're smiling to the bank. The same thing with Eco Atlantic. Everybody saw Eco Atlantic coming up and all that stuff. So people were saying that, the place is empty, the place is empty. American embassy is there, the place is empty. First Bank headquarters is going to be there, the place is empty. Let me stop there. First mover. It's a no-brainer.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So the last question, because we already have other questions that people have sent, and I want us to take that before we wrap this up. So this last question says, how should real estate investors need it? All right. How should real estate investors, particularly institutional or diaspora investors, think about timing their entry into the development along these routes? That's the last question from us, and we'll take the questions from the audience.
Okay, so I think something has been made quite clear here, which is that this road is very significant, and it's going to open up the whole corridor. And that corridor is beyond just Ekpe, because everybody, when they hear Lagos Coastal Road, they don't recognize the other states is flowing, even to Akwa Ibom. So for international investors, I will tell them, don't be afraid, first of all. I know there's been lots of news in the papers and all of that. I do know that. As I said, I'm not here to make advert for anyone. All what I know is what I was trained for over 2 decades, and what a lot of people I know out there were trained for. Get a professional. I think another thing, which another mistake people make, especially in diaspora, is you have to understand your game. What is your end game? Is there an end game? Is it a long-term play? Are you coming in to buy land or invest in a place in which you need quick returns? Or is it a long-term play? Is it a play that you want in the next 1 decade for your children? So it's very clear. Let it be clear for the professional to guide you. But I will say this. Transparency is key. Yes, our market is still an immature market. It's still developing. But trust me, there are lots of people taking positions here, and a lot of them are not getting their hands burnt. So take the bold step. As I said, trick is, are they regulated? Whoever you're dealing with. And those things don't matter. Once they are regulated and you feel that they can handle, get in touch with them. It's not about one uncle calling you from Ogun State telling you, I have land here, I have land here. Oh, I know the family. There's nothing like know the family there. So this just adds up to every other thing I've said. This is the time to come in. Come in, take position, don't wait. If you are still doubtful in what I'm saying, it's very easy. Just know that, just carry maybe a nice bottle of energy drink. Go get on Amadu Bello. They won't stop you if you're trekking. Take your time and trek down. Or on the Lagos Junction, take your time, trek down, and see what I'm talking about. Nobody needs to tell you. Seeing is believing. So I'll leave it there. But this is the time to come in. No one should be afraid. Do your due diligence. People are investing. People are taking positions. I still know someone that took a huge position last week. Huge position. Wow. I won't mention the state. Huge position. So yeah, people should move in. Yeah.
All right. So you heard that he mentioned that you should deal with real estate professionals, and you can deal with us violently. We bring answer to all your real estate problems, so we can connect you to the likes of Rogba, Orimalade and Co. If you need their services, we have access to them. We can help you build a relationship, and so if you want to use their service, we can make that happen. And at violently, we also have a hang of any other need that is real estate related. Let me put it that way. And now I will take this first question by Mr. Shu. Do you have an opinion on the drainage infrastructure attached to the coastal road? More specifically, the collection point, canals and outflows. How effective has this ancillary design been? The road is much higher than the surround infrastructure.
Yes, good question. What I'll say is I'll answer it in two parts. One is the people that are doing the road. I think what they've done, their track record is quite clear. And firsthand, I've actually gone on my leg, actually. They won't allow you to drive. I've actually trekked and seen certain things they're doing. And they are burying a lot of the cables. The drainage seems good. The point they are saying regarding the elevation, yes, they're very right. The elevation is very high, very, very high. And they're doing that they're considering so many factors in terms of drainages and even erosion, Now, the impact there is not even on the road. The impact is on the properties at the other side. So that's the negative, if I'm right to say, that might happen to some of the assets, even some estates that they didn't take their level above a certain mark. So I will say this. Again, I'm not related to the contractors. I'm not attached to Lagos State government. What I've seen, I like. knowing track record, we always, as professionals, we always look at track record of people, of companies. We've seen what these people have done, and the initial that we've seen, even from Eco Atlantic and the infrastructure around, which is, they are the same company doing it. They're doing a very good job. They're not bending. What we've seen, they're not bending. The only fear I have, but the fear was doused when, a little bit doused, I would still say the jury is out there, is the security, securing the infrastructure. The solar coming there, the CCTV and all that. It's a long road. So I'm anxious to find out from government the security, what do you call it, structure that's going to be put in place. Because it's not just about the individual passengers that are driving there. It's those underground cables, those metals, and those things are expensive. All over Victoria Island, Ikoyi now, if you take your time and just walk around, you realize that a lot of the, what do you call it, the gutter areas and all of that, some of those ducts are being vandalized, and they are selling it. And why are they doing that? They are doing that because a lot of those places don't have light. A lot of the places don't have CCTV to capture it live. So that is the only fear I have. But beyond that, the quality of what I've seen is very good. I will just add this quickly to this, that again, when you are, or you have assets or estates are building not too far from this road, they have to get proper engineers, good engineers to do. It's not about saving money. It doesn't make any sense building an estate and at the end of the day, this road is live, rainfall comes, and you just see people's houses being swallowed by rainfall. But so far, so good. It looks good. It looks good. That's the little I can say. Yes.
All right. Thank you, sir. I see our CEO is on the call, Mr. Benga Oshowe. Good morning, sir. All right. I guess his network is on about. Benga. All right. So let me take the next question. So someone is asking, Ogedengbe Oladaniel wants to know if the Lagos Coastal Highway is going to connect River State. He's interested in knowing if it's going to connect River State.
To the best of my knowledge, it's meant to ply past Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Akwa Ibom. But as I said, I'm not, if the minister will say, I'm sure he'll have answered this more professionally than me. But what I will say is there is a connection. There is a connection. Anyone that knows rivers knows, if you're talking about rivers, you're talking about Bayelsa, there is a connection in a lot of these roads. So let's not look at it from the angle of, oh, is it passing my backyard as a state? It doesn't need to pass your backyard as a state. There is a multiplier effect it's going to have at the end of the day. The point is, as it's connecting these whole zones, there is an automatic ripple effect. Automatic. Again, we can use Ogun State.
Astronomical.
Yeah. So you can use Ogun State. There are states that are around Ogun State. So there's a way around it. That's why I talked about blood and infrastructure being blood to land. It takes it round. It covers everything, and it keeps on. That's just it. It keeps on expanding within the whole body frame. That's how it works.
Right. And Ifemaywa is asking, as an inspiring real estate investor and developer who want to take position along this route to gain deep, reliable insights into the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road project, what are the following government documents and resources that are key for insights and knowledge that will help me understand its planning, development, implementation routes, and the neighborhoods it will affect? I think this person just wants to know what documents that can guide them on how to invest on this route.
Okay, so I'll start from this angle. The good news is that the minister is doing a good PR job. And that PR job is making skit makers and other people within the social media space get on that road and also even bring out information that some of us might not have been so privy to know. Okay, so I would say, first of all, first-hand information that you can at least get a feel of it. Read the newspapers. There are lots of information now coming out about it. Go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and just search regarding the coastal road. Buy, let, live. I know that in the next few days and weeks, from what they've told me, they're going to throw out lots of information regarding the coastal road. I'm aware of that. So better sign up to Buy, Let, Live. But beyond that, in terms of information and all of that, look, if all the information is out there, I don't think there'll be any land that will be ready for you to buy right now. Get your, this is an official, I wanted to use the word, I just cautioned myself, but get yourself in your car, drive down, not Amado Bello, you won't appreciate it more. Drive down, get to Eleko, park your car, get your boots, stroll down, and take your time. A lot of people I know go and look. After that, drive down, go to Ogombo area, Lekki Scheme 2 area, Ibrahim Adesanya area. Park your car, ask where the road passing. Walk down, see it. You will see clearly that they've done the road. The road is coming. After that, go down, park around 4th roundabout. Park your car around Elegushi. Go down. You will see the road. From that road, stroll down. I don't know what investigations you need to do again after that. Dedicate your Saturday. Carry your wife so that you make an informed decision. And get a lot of water and ice. And it won't take you more than, beyond going to Eleko early in the morning, coming. It's something within 3 to 4 hours. All what I've just said, you'll be able to capture it. I think you won't you'll be a better speaker than me by the time you're through with that. Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. Trust me, no matter how much I believed in this road, even before I saw it, I was in awe when I went there myself and I saw it. There is a different feel. There's so many ideas. There's so many ideas that will come into your mind. So that's what I would say. Right. Just get on the car, go there with the wifey, spend 4 to 5 hours. Yeah.
All right, so Odu Sonny Shegun is asking, has the government already indicated where the road will pass through Odo State? And Adibobola too, who is from Oshu like me, said, how can we in Oshu strategize together? Well, the Oshu, let's let the road get to Oshu first without strategize.
Yeah, but the route is following is not hidden. In fact, let me tell you this: if you go to, thank God for the technology we have, just Google Coastal Road. Even go on your app, AI or whatever you. Just Google Coastal Road. It will bring out even the villages. I just don't want to make some further pronouncements here before property value will increase by tomorrow in those areas. But it's there. It's all hidden. No one's hiding information. It's there. It is there. It's not hidden. It's on the internet. The map of the road is there. You can have a good idea of where it's passing. At least I know at the southwest end is quite clear. And again, this is why I said talk is cheap. Carry your boots, go to Eleko. The workers are there. They're doing the road. Have conversation. Have conversations. They're the ones walking on the road. They know where they're going. Than me telling you what you might still be doubting. Yeah.
Yes, even you can also check out our property price index reports 2024 too. We have some information right there that can guide you on how to invest properly. And someone is asking, this is by Shoremi. Apologies, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. I said, how can the miners, especially sharp sand miners, benefit and key into the development?
Now, when you say development, are you talking about the after effect of the road in terms of the property developers and all that coming up? Or are you talking about the contractors? Because based on that, I believe the contractors have already sorted out that angle in where they are getting their sand and all what they are using. But all what I'll just say is be creative. I will say it again, drop your car. Lots of things are happening. From the coastal road, you even see people that are trying to do certain out in other places, doing development or trying to do development. Go there, ask questions, introduce yourself. I'm into sharp sand, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Nobody, there's no free lunch. Nobody is going to give you anything. Go out there, go to the sites. There are lots of businesses happening. Go to the sites. So again, there's no, I can't tell you, and even if you call me after that, I will just be speaking in parables to you regarding this. All what I'm just saying is there's business on site. It's not analog. You have to be on site and get to sites, have those conversations. It's business. Once you can get your sharp sand and your sharp sand can get to sites at certain times, it's all about the pricing, and you agree. Once you can deliver, people will try you out. I've seen 1 or 2 women that have met me on sites before. I didn't know they were at Ikorodu long. I didn't know them. And one woman just came to the site, and we ended up calling the woman and giving her. The only thing she said is that, Oga, we can supply sand, supply this. I said, where are you coming from? I said, no, we can supply within this thing. We have this, we have that. I didn't go to that place. And the woman, she didn't even waste time. She brought the next day. I didn't know the woman from anywhere. One of her sites, she's the one, and I think she's making so much money now because she's always smiling at me every time I see her. You know? So that is it. That's it. Especially if you're in the business of sharp sand and all of that. If you can't go yourself, get IT students, get certain people that are going to work with you, throw them out to the site. Because there's a lot going to happen. And don't wait till people are, that's the mistake a lot of people make. People are already going to site because they are not working, because they're not doing setting out. Doesn't mean that they're not taking positions already. Have conversations. The least the person will tell you is, what's your problem? I can't talk to you. But out of 10 people, you talk to 10 people, at least 2 to 3 people might give you business or the opportunity. So that's just an advice to the person that talked about sharp sand and all of that. It's on the field that things are happening. It's on the field.
So go to the field, get your boots, like Mr. Orimalade said. And so Damilola wants to know, what are the key data points or trends that investors should track over the next 12 to 24 months as the project progresses?
That's a broad, Damilola, you're not fair to me. That's a loaded, when you talk of data, we can break data in so many hands. When you talk of trends, I can give you trends on residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality. And when you talk of trends, where are you talking about? Are you talking about monitoring the trend of how the Lekki Phase 1 will play out with the other areas? So it's broad. What I will say is this, and I don't know whether you joined us at the beginning. The property trend to watch out for. Please note this. Plus or minus, the Minister of Works has said that Federal Executive Council has been, I think they've sent it for their approval, because he wants to ensure that that road is open. That is the 47.7 kilometers of Section 1 that hits Lekki Seaport. They want to be able to toll it, which means that his intention is for that road people to be plowing. So I will clearly say this to you. If based on that projection is going to happen, 2 key things are going to happen. There's going to be an instant change in terms of property values from the rental perspective and from the capital value perspective. In gated estates that are all over, and I'm talking about all over the corridor, instantly beyond Lekki Phase 1 and the second roundabout, I'm coming there, you are going to get instant appreciation, most probably as high as 25%, 20-25%. You're going to get that. And within Lekki Phase 1 and Lekki Phase 2, unlike what people are saying, and I've heard this conversation, you are also going to get a further appreciation. And what is going to make it? Another dirty December is coming. The dirty December this year is going to be higher than last year. The hype of dirty December is going to start from November. beginning. People are more prepared now. There are more investment in co-working, in shortlets, and all that. That concentration is all around Lekki Phase 1. In case you don't know this, part of the hype and part of the increment on appreciation of property came about after 30 December, especially in Lekki Phase 1 and Ikoyi. Properties that were commanding rents of 7, 6, or 5 million, all of a sudden went to 15 million, 12 to 15 million. So what I'm just trying to say, as I said, buy, let, leave has a lot of analysis data. I'm sure they will roll it out. But all what I'm just trying to say is that across the board, there's going to be an adjustment in pricing. But definitely, the road being commissioned by December is going to open up the whole area. And you shouldn't be afraid and fear. As I said, the best thing now is to take position further down, especially if you are a tenant or you are a prospective tenant. So that's where I'll leave it. Well, please go through buy, let, leave, property index, and I know the information they're about to bring out in the next few weeks. I think you'll be well fed with information on that.
Thank you for the shout out, sir. Yes, so for those asking questions about the buy, let, leave property price index report, we've dropped a link to a copy that you can view and get data and key insights. I've dropped that in the chat box so you can click it and get access. So there's this important question I just saw. It's from, has to do with, Omolara. She said, the coastal road is behind my property. It's not under government acquisition. That has been confirmed with LASPA, Minister of Waterfront. I met the commissioner and it was confirmed it's excised.
It's excised.
There is no way forward.
It's excised or it's not excised?
She said it's excised.
Okay.
However, there is no way forward in securing the documentation. Everyone in Alausa is saying the government has not given the go-ahead to perfect the documentation. What do I do?
What I will say right now is not what I will say here. I will advise, buy, let, leave, please. Let her get her details. Let me guide her afterwards. But again, so I will talk to her on that. All I'll just say on this issue, I think you can remember I mentioned it about governor's consent and having, even if your land is from families, ensuring that it's gazetted and it's free from government acquisition, as I said. But it's not as straightforward as that. But I will guide her. For those that are having these issues and all that, they might try and see if they can quickly regularize if the opportunity arises. But I'll leave it like that. Key thing is get a professional, please. Whether you are in a situation now or you're going to do some investment, so that this kind of questions will not come up, like this. So, but please, buy, let, leave, get their details. I should be able to advise her appropriately afterwards.
All right. Thank you, sir. So you can reach out to us if you have similar questions related to your property around this area, you need guidance. We would do well to connect you with Mr. Olurogba, and he will be able to guide you on how to proceed with that. So, Ambassador Obong is asking, please, is government currently revoking any gazette on some land around the coastal road area? I think this would be the last one we can take.
I think Ambassador will want me to tell him what he will be happy to hear, and I won't tell him that. Whether your land is, well, let me put it this way, and let me be careful here. Government, under overriding public interest, based on the Land Use Act, have a right to revoke land, but it's for public purposes. That is very clear. It's very clear. Lands that fall under Gazette, there's a reason why families are fighting all over the place to get their lands gazetted. By you getting your lands gazetted, your land should be free from government acquisition. But again, things do happen. I'll give you a good example quickly. There was a bridge that I believe Governor Ambode built on the mainland, close to Ogba, flyover bridge and all that. That place needed a bridge. They had to pay compensation. There are certain people that I can tell you might have had genuine title around there. Government had to pay compensation to some people that own shops and things like that. These things do happen. We don't pray for it. So what I would just say is, as much as possible, perfect your title. That's all I would say. But I'll just leave it there and say that at the end of the day, if your land is positioned in such a way that government just has to revoke it for public interest, overriding public interest, it might be a tough call, but it is what it is. But as I said, and I will say it consistently again, I don't want to sound negative to a lot of people that right now I believe they might be changing their smiles on their faces. I'm not saying your property is gone. Try to make efforts to regularize. And I'm sure that if your papers are together, you might get a good hearing. It's not everybody that lost assets that were demolished within the coastal road. That's the honest truth. So I'll leave it there.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. So for anyone who has any question related to all that's been said, you can reach out to us. There's an email in the chat box. You can reach out to mojibe@violentlead.com, and you can also send us an email at sales@violentlead.com. And for those who have these dispute-related issues that would like to reach out to Mr. Olurogba, you can also reach out to us as well, so we can, facilitate the connection and all that. Thank you. I think we have come to the end of the chat. I really want to say a big thank you to Mr. Olurogba for doing justice to all our questions, and I want to appreciate you for always on our call. And big thank you to everyone who has joined too. Mr. Olurogba, nice to have you once again.
Pleasure having me.
Thank you.
Pleasure having me.
Yes, sir. So we look forward to everyone joining us on our next episode. And we have come to the end of today's episode. I want to say thank you and do enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Adebola Adegoke. Have a great day ahead, everyone.